Until I was 9 years old, I firmly believed the world appeared a certain way. Soft, billowy, and something miraculous happened. I put on my first pair of glasses, and bam, the world was transformed. Gone were the soft, muted edges, and in their place, detail and contrast. I'll never forget the awe of seeing the front yard tree, the sharp details of each individual leaf. It was exhilarating and also mortifying. Had everyone else been seeing this way all along? So as I began my research into decision-making, I was delighted and equally disturbed to feel that surprising clarity again. I had put on a new pair of glasses, not for my eyes, but for my mind. And I felt that familiar awe as these new glasses revealed the detailed world behind how our brains make decisions. Our brains have evolved to help us make sense of the world and navigate it quickly. And navigate they do. We each make thousands of decisions a day. Thousands. To accomplish this feat, our brains use unconscious shortcuts and patterns of thinking. The result is that the vast majority of our decisions happen without our conscious awareness. I couldn't help but wonder, could we find a way to make our decision-making more visible and predict how these shortcuts and patterns of thinking could be leading us astray? And what I discovered was profound. The way we interpret the world and make choices is deeply personal. And it's not just theory. I'm living proof. When I think about my own way of navigating the world, I'm naturally curious, I love brainstorming, and get energized by imagining what's possible. So, when early in my career, I had the opportunity to lead a major organizational change, I approached it the way I approach most things, with creativity and lots of enthusiasm. I painted a compelling vision, and I encouraged my team to brainstorm and experiment. And at first, it was exhilarating. But while my decisions inspired some, they overwhelmed others who valued structure and predictability. To them, it felt like we were setting sail without a map. As I listened to their feedback, I got curious. How had my personal perspectives influenced my decision-making? How had my team's perspectives provided different views of the same challenge? I learned that the best decisions come from knowing our own lens on the world, bravely challenging our thinking, and intentionally seeking diverse viewpoints. And the most powerful lesson, once you understand how you see the world, you can't unsee it. My obsession with decision-making grew out of these early experiences and led to my master's research, studying how to predict leadership decision-making errors and find ways to prevent them. And I'll let you in on a little secret. When the information started to point towards personality as a way to predict our shortcuts and patterns of thinking, I was skeptical. Doesn't personality sound a little unscientific for something as critical as leadership decision-making? So I did what any reasonable person would do. I tried to disprove it. I read books on cognitive psychology and research papers on neuroscience, and I interviewed scholars and business leaders. And yet, instead of disproving it, I actually found even more evidence that showed that our personalities act as invisible storytellers in our minds, shaping how we navigate the world and make choices. And for the record, I'm not talking about personality in a gimmicky way, like, which Hogwarts house are you? Although, for the record, I'm a Ravenclaw. I mean deeply researched traits that drive how we interpret the world. I learned that when we view our decision-making through the lens of personality, we see our brains in action, how we make sense of the world, what we choose to focus on and ignore, and ultimately what we decide. And you don't need to become a master of profound self-awareness or a personality expert to benefit from this knowledge. Simply being curious about how your brain filters information can change how you make decisions. And this information is crucial because our decisions build our futures. So now I'd like to hand you your own pair of glasses, ones that allow you to see how your personality influences your decision-making. And let's practice seeing personality patterns in action. Imagine your team is deciding on a new strategic direction. The room is full of ideas and the discussion's lively. How do you engage in that moment? Well, your personality, your invisible storyteller, might have a lot to say about that. If you're more extroverted, your inner voice says, "This is my moment to shine. I should jump in and lead the charge." Extroverts naturally speak up and take action. And while this can keep a discussion moving forward, ideas can be lost or overlooked. Now, if you're more introverted, your inner voice says, "Let me process first before I speak." You thrive in thoughtful one-on-one discussions and bring deep insights important to decision-making. Yet in a fast-moving discussion, you may hesitate to jump in, and your insights could be lost. Now, to those of you who love structure and planning, your voice sounds different. "We've already invested so much. Why change?" You see the value in stability, and so you may resist a decision to change direction. Now, to those of you who seek harmony, thank you, you lovely peacekeepers. Your voice says, "Let's make sure everyone feels heard." You bring the team together and smooth over conflict, so you may hesitate to share a different viewpoint, even if it could improve the decision. And to those of you with strong nervous energy, you're highly tuned to risk. Your voice whispers, "Wait, let's talk about what we could lose, not just what we could gain." You feel the risk of loss and danger more acutely than others. And so you may choose a safer option, even if a risk is necessary. Same meeting, different stories, different perspectives. And the reality is that decision-making is often a team sport. For example, a risk taker, a careful planner, and a detailed analyst walk into a boardroom. And they each have a different narrative to make sense of a problem and find potential solutions. And at first, these different perspectives feel mismatched, but together, they create balance. The risk taker inspires bold ideas, the careful planner ensures stability, and the detailed analyst keeps everyone grounded in facts. And that's more than good teamwork. It's the foundation for exceptional decision-making. So now that you know a bit more about how your personality influences your decisions, here are 3 simple strategies to help you make better choices. The first, know yourself. Take the time to explore. Reflect on past decisions. Take personality assessments or ask others who know you well. They often see you more clearly than you see yourself. The second, be curious and brave. What stories are you telling yourself? Objectively listen to your inner voice and ask, how am I processing this situation? And remember, you do not need to believe everything you think. And third, invite diverse viewpoints. Thinking errors thrive when we surround ourselves by people who think like us. And if a different perspective challenges you, that's a clue to pause and lean in. Some of the best insights come from those who see the world differently. So let's go back to 9-year-old me putting on that first pair of glasses. In that moment, my world changed. Not because the world had changed, but because I could see it in new detail. So as you step back into the world, as leaders, thinkers, and change makers, I invite you to don your own pair of glasses. And remember, when we see ourselves clearly, challenge our perspectives, and invite diverse viewpoints, we don't just make better decisions, we build better futures together. Thank you.